What you hear is not a test. I'm podcasting to the beat. This is Corey, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 195 of the Anthem podcast.
Maybe the last.
Maybe so. It is 10:03 p.m. Pacific. That makes it 1:03 a.m. Eastern Time. And the Anthem is live from coast to coast, broadcasting from the hashtag OTA LA studios, high above the 110 freeway in beautiful but fucking frigid downtown Los Angeles, California.
He says as it's 65 degrees.
First of all, it's like 55 degrees, and it's still very, very cold. For any of you who follow me on Snapchat, and really you should, because it's all seriously gold, at this name right here, at Robert N. Cheek on Snapchat. I posted about how frigid it was when I was walking to get coffee, and then after I was done recording, I flipped on the filter that had the temperature just to be like, look how cold it is, 62 degrees. I've clearly become acclimated, and it's going to be miserable being on the East Coast.
Yes.
But we are, of course, broadcasting today for the third time in a week because we are going to be on the East Coast. When you hear this, I will be back. Corey will be in the process of coming back. Mm-hmm. So this is a debate for the future. We're coming to you from the past. We hope that the new year finds you well.
Hopefully we're all still here.
Yes, hopefully so. I think 2012 was the big risk of the world ending.
Well, I mean, Kim Jong-un and stuff.
Right. We are. I mean, it is several weeks away. Who's to say what might happen in the meantime? So, despite all of those things, we are preparing. So, if the aliens find this podcast and you're the first ones to listen to it, well,
Sorry for what we did to rap music.
No. All right. So, the topic. So, I wanted to get into a little history because I don't think we've covered it since, I don't know, the very beginning of the podcast. Maybe at the anniversary shows or something like that. But way back. First of all, if you don't know, Corey and I have been friends since 2002, August of 2002, which makes it 15 plus years at this point, going into our 16th year. So back at Hofstra, where we both went to college, we got into these epic debates where we would just stand outside of a dorm or outside of Hofstra USA or outside of a classroom or something and just smoke cigarettes for hours on end and debate all of these huge topics.
Right.
And that gave Corey the idea a few years later, 7 years later, that we should get in on this podcasting thing where we can just have these debates and record them, and maybe people would like to listen to it. So we didn't do it then, but 5 years later, we decided to finally start it, and that's why we are 195 consecutive weeks at this point, in a row. So we occasionally go back to the debates. Last year, we did several point counterpoints. We really should get back into the point counterpoints because these are some of my favorite episodes. But we have had a raging debate going on in our household, and I feel like it was necessary to address it in the form of a podcast, and this is our perfect opportunity.
Absolutely, especially since we didn't want to talk about things that we didn't know where they would stand by the time this episode dropped. Like, for instance, they just passed the tax bill in real time.
Yes.
But funnily enough, Trump hasn't signed it yet.
Right, and never know.
You never know. We could just talk about how we hated the tax bill for an entire episode and then find out that this was all some sort of evil plot for Trump to pocket veto something.
Because he wanted to make the Republicans look bad?
Yeah.
So
and
there you go.
There you go. And it's just like, they brought me a bad bill. I want a new bill.
I said it had to have this in it. It wasn't in it. I told him I wouldn't sign it. I'm not going to sign it.
Yeah.
So, you never can tell.
Yeah.
And
so
there's a lot.
Rather than guess and postulate at what might possibly happen, we decided to just do something that would live on forever.
Right.
Essentially.
Right. At least for the next few years while people care about it. But nonetheless, it's... I want to say a big thank you to all the fans who reached out over the past couple of weeks, and especially to Ashley, who I know is listening. She listens every single week. A big thank you to you for sending the props via Snapchat. You can reach me via Snapchat at Robert N. Cheek. You can reach Corey via Snapchat
at LegendZB5,
right below his name down there. And she sent a very nice video message about how she feels much like I do about the what does it even matter, and so she enjoys that theme, ongoing theme, but at the same time she's glad that we're still discussing these issues because it needs to be discussed even if we know that it may not make a difference.
Well, that's the important part. if you don't call anybody on the bullshit, then they're just going to keep doing it.
Right. Exactly right. So, but this week we give you a reprieve. Actually, last week was a reprieve too. We didn't talk any politics last week.
A little holiday fun.
Trying to keep it light for the holidays. And this is going to be not light. It will be intense.
It'll probably be contentious.
Yes. If you have small children in the car, why the fuck are you listening to this podcast with kids in the car? It's a horrible decision. Just horrible parenting overall.
Just call Child Protective Services now. And
Really, you should. I can't see why you would need to have your children after this. But keep small children away because I'm sure that language will be involved in this episode. But in this episode, we are going to continue a debate that's been going on in our house and what I've been terming the great music debate.
Okay.
And why is it a great debate, Corey?
Because me and you get very animated about it, and we go on and keep raising the ire every single time. It's been very, very raging.
It has been raging, and I'll give some background about this particular argument. So really what it comes down to is this. Corey and I had very similar music interests for much of our life, I would say. I mean, there's some stuff that you liked that I didn't and some stuff I liked that you didn't, but generally speaking.
I mean, like I liked punk more than you did.
Right. I was never a big Pink Floyd fan.
Right.
But,
Pink Floyd's one of my favorites.
Right. And you were way more into the singer-songwriters, but I could enjoy the music.
I mean, I think what we both came to was even if it was something that wasn't your cup of tea per se,
right,
you could hear it and say like, "Oh, I see why Corey likes this."
Right.
I'm not a punk fan, but as a punk song goes, this is pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we came upon a topic. Mainly because I started working, as we talked about last week. I haven't mentioned it a lot, but I started working at Create Music Group. Here in Hollywood, and it really exposed me to an entirely different world of music that I hadn't been listening to before. Really just a very diverse world from EDM, from like the 90 different versions of electronic dance music. I went to a rave for the first time since college, which was an intense experience. Did we talk about that? I think we did.
I don't think we talked on the podcast. I think you just sort of mentioned how old you were.
Yes, and I felt very old while I was there. But so I've been listening to a lot of EDM music and all the way to some really underground SoundCloud-based rap artists, and basically everything in between those two, as diverse as that could possibly be. So as my views diversified, Corey has become very much Old Man Baker in his and stuck to his guns, and that has left us at an impasse when it comes to one particular thing, because we are both rap fans. We both enjoy rap music.
Oh, yeah.
Corey is locked in 2002. Unless it happened before 2002, he is not interested whatsoever.
That's not true.
Well, I'm going to let you have the opening salvo. So generally speaking, this debate is about mumble rap or modern rap or new hip hop, however you want to phrase it. But artists like Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Yachty, basically any of the littles that aren't Lil Wayne.
Any of the littles.
Designer is another great example. All of these folks that Corey just has nothing but ire for.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you explain why you have so much ire for these people, Corey.
I mean, my basic argument doesn't take that much to understand. I would say it pretty much simply boils down to the fact that they don't have any discernible talent, and compared to rappers of a forlorn era, there is no competition between even the worst rappers from the 90s and 2000s and the rappers that we are dealing with in the last, let's call it 5 years.
Okay.
It has been, over the course of the last 5 years, steadily decreasing at an accelerated rate. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that people have been accepting of it. Major record labels put out music that people take, and they say, well, this is the only thing that's going to be on the radio today, so I might as well listen to it. And then you get cultured and broken into thinking that this is what is good and this is what is popular. And most people don't have the time or effort to go out and scour looking for the music that they're going to be interested in. And that process, unless you live in a very specialized area, like if I said, like I'm into horrorcore, grunge metal, like that's a very specific subsect.
Right.
And I can go around and find like chat boards that are talking about it and find 10 or 15 bands that I like and just listen to a couple tracks and be like, these guys don't do it for me. These guys are better. And you can figure out where you're going. With rap, it is too big of a genre to be able to sort of specially find what you want. And so much of what has encapsulated the mainstream listening audience of rap is degraded to the point where it isn't even worth examining as an artistic endeavor.
Okay. So I correct me if I'm wrong, but your overall standing is that the singer-songwriter still is the pinnacle of music.
No.
I mean, that's been your argument before, is that it's all about the singer-songwriter.
No, I mean, I like singer-songwriters, but I think that what I really enjoy is people who I like lyrics. I'll put that at number one.
Yeah.
I feel like if I will give up a lot if somebody is a great lyricist.
Okay.
Leonard Cohen, for example,
Sure.
is an artist that I've loved my entire life because my father loved Leonard Cohen and indoctrinated me into it. Leonard does not have a smooth singing voice.
No.
He's very low and very monotone, and it's, I heard there was a secret chord, like very much like that.
Yeah.
And you accept the fact that he may not have the best voice, but what he's singing he feels so passionately about, and you can hear the passion in his voice.
Okay.
And the lyrics that he's singing are so incredible. So, for instance, Hallelujah, one of the you'll hear it a lot this time of year too.
Yep.
But one of the most covered songs of all time is Hallelujah, originally written by Leonard Cohen.
Right.
That has since been done by Jeff Buckley and Rufus Wainwright and a bunch of other.
You enjoy very much.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I wouldn't just because you might classify you wouldn't classify Leonard Cohen as a singer-songwriter. You would probably point out the more known that, like, he's a lyricist and a musician, and
but he's not a singer-songwriter. He sings and he writes songs.
Yeah, but I mean, the singer-songwriter has always sort of like been more. It'd be like if I said, like, oh, let's on the way to Hollywood, let's listen to some mumble rap.
Okay.
And I started playing you Busta Rhymes.
Okay.
You would be like, well, that's not mumble rap. That's just rap. And then I would say, well, what's the difference? I mean, like, that's essentially what you're saying. If you're lumping Leonard Cohen, the singer-songwriter, in with other singer-songwriters that you would more traditionally align with, then you're missing the intricacies that define certain artists.
You are about to make my argument for me. I love that you brought up that example, because I am going to come back to that.
Okay.
But nonetheless, okay, so you enjoy the singer-songwriter, but you do enjoy rap music as well.
Yeah.
You just appreciate rap music that has lyrics in it.
I appreciate rap music.
Yes.
That has substantive lyrics.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, like I love a great like hype rap track. One of that we always sing constantly or put on all the time.
Yeah.
Is "Party Up" by DMX.
Yes.
It really doesn't have a lot like of wanting in the lyrics. There's nothing about it that's like
deep
very deep.
Yeah.
It's not like talking about the struggle of coming up from like a broken family or living in the ghetto or anything that could be impactful from DMX's past. But it's just about like, hey, we're getting it's a party tonight.
Don't.
Yeah. It's all about the hope is when DMX wrote that song is that people would be entering a place where dancing is happening or partying is happening.
Yeah.
And you would hear that song and you'd be like, oh, and get into it.
Which is exactly what we do.
Yeah, it's fine. Not all music has to be, the nth degree. I'm okay with there being levels to this, but I would prefer that my rap or my rappers be of a caliber who are capable of putting together intricate thoughts and ideas, and expressing them along to the beat of the music.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning then.
Okay,
what does rap stand for? You know that rap is actually an acronym.
Oh, I didn't know this. Go ahead.
Oh. A sidebar just for a
Rhythm
moment.
and percussion?
No. Although that's not bad. This is a sidebar. If you guys will go back to our very early episodes 1 through, I don't know, 50 probably, Rob prepared extensive research for every single episode. I did so for this episode as well because I wanted to come in both guns blazing and be able to say, I know everything. And in fact, right before we started, I told Corey, I think I know everything there is to know about mumble rap. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, so
and by the way, whenever somebody says to Rob something like, Rob knows everything. So if you say to him like, well, you don't know anything about shipbuilding methods from the 1600s, and you're like, ha.
Oh, but wait.
And then you go on for 15 minutes about like the different ways they built ships.
Yeah.
People are like, how the fuck do you know this? Meanwhile, 30 or 20 years ago, Rob was just reading a book about shipbuilding, and it's just all retained in some part of his brain that allows him to whip it out anytime he wants.
Yeah. I don't know why that is, but basically just put it on the table. No, yes, but I didn't know a lot about mumble rap, but I wanted to know, so I educated myself for this here podcast. How much preparation did you...
I mean, I listened to some music before.
Okay. Anyway, so rap.
Yeah.
Rap came up at the same time as R&B.
Yeah.
R&B is...
Rhythm and blues.
And rap is... Rhythm and percussion is not a bad guess, though. But it's rhythm and poetry.
Okay.
So R&B...
That makes sense.
R&B was about...
Rhythm and blues.
Was about the way that the music made you feel.
Yeah.
And then rhythm and poetry was supposed to be that with lyrics on top. So it's interesting that you would say you are a diehard rap fan for the lyrics because that is supposed to be a part of it.
It's supposed to be 1/3 of the equation.
But rhythm and is the other 2/3?
Well, and is its own defining quality.
They have to be together. They have to be together.
No, it's not the two. It's rhythm and
poetry. Yeah. Okay.
So the and is whatever you want it to be.
So we're going to get back to the mumble rap, but I want to go back in time just a little bit.
Okay.
I do know that you're not an aficionado, but you do enjoy blues.
Yeah.
You enjoy jazz.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that free-form jazz is a lesser form of jazz music?
No, because there is an aspect to jazz which, when done properly, when you have 5 or 6 musicians up there all improvising on their own and all moving off of the instructions of the others, the subtle instructions of the others, there's something really beautiful in the way that it all comes together.
Okay.
Now, would I prefer to listen to a song that I could learn the lyrics to and sing in the car?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that would probably be my preference. But, if somebody is up there and they're, like, boop, 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 beep, 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 along with whatever the music is, like, I can appreciate the artistry in that.
Okay. So you can...
But not everything has to have lyrics. I mean, like, there's music, like, the spiritual successor of EDM, like the techno electronic dance music of the 90s that I wasn't a big fan of, but would listen to occasionally. Like, those were all lyricless. Or if they had lyrics, it was very like, like Sandstorm.
Sampled.
Yeah.
It sampled something.
Right.
Like,
or it would have just like the name of the track like somewhere like in there.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like it wasn't a defining part of the song.
So you can enjoy EDM music that has no lyrics.
Yeah.
You enjoy freeform jazz, which has no lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay, so sticking with jazz, what about scat music?
Again, it's not my cup of tea.
Right.
Somebody who is exceptionally good at it,
Right.
I will enjoy.
Okay.
I would say my brother is the bottom line of how low I'm willing to go on scat.
Okay.
Because Brendan will scat from time to time.
I don't know if I've ever heard him scat
Oh,
before.
you should definitely ask him to do it. Like
Yeah,
he'll do
that.
like a little like beep 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 boop boop and just like it be very quick.
Okay.
He's only got it for a little bit. But when he does it, he's really good actually.
Okay.
But
All
he's like the bottom line of talent as far if it was anybody less talented than Brendan scatting, I don't want to hear it.
Okay. So, but would you find scat to be a lesser form of the blues or a lesser form of jazz?
No.
It's equal to on the same level as any other jazz.
Well, it's very it's so dependent on a solitary momentary experience.
Okay.
So I mean, like, if somebody wrote a jazz song and they were scatting to it,
Right.
and they picked all the spots where the doos and the wops and the
right.
oohies are going to be,
It would not feel the same.
It would be very, very. You would feel dirty listening to it.
Right.
It just wouldn't hit you the way that it would if it was somebody who was just free forming off the top of their head. Much like I really enjoy somebody who can freestyle rap.
Right.
Like somebody who's real good. Like, obviously, like Eminem is sort of like from our era, like the king of the.
I feel like he's getting a little older and losing his touch.
Oh, I'm not saying he had to have it forever, but I'm saying there was a while there where Eminem would show up at a radio station and they'd just be like, "Hey, what do you think about Common?" And he'd just be like, "Oh, I'll fucking freestyle on Common. I don't give a shit." And then you would listen to it and it'd be like better than most of the other songs on the radio. And you'd be like, he just came up with that. Like
on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, and probably not on the spot. He had some stuff prepared.
He probably, I mean, like most good rappers, I feel like have a couple lines that like will get them to where they need to be.
And then throw in it, find something that rhymes with Common real quick. And,
right.
And I'm going to make this about
Or it's like,
Common.
I need something that rhymes with pussy. So I put the lines together.
Yeah.
It's just like, so I know I can, if I need a break to think about the next part, I've got something chambered.
Yeah.
Ready to go. But I mean, like, generally speaking, like, I didn't hear a lot of freestyles that, like, use the same.
Right. Okay. So here's my question, though. So your argument...
It's not like you'd be like Eminem going like, "Oh, with the fucking Mom Spaghetti again in your freestyle rap." Like,
right. No, and he wouldn't. God, I hope he wouldn't use Mom Spaghetti again.
Yeah.
But so we can agree that scat is essentially equal to all other blues and jazz. We have an agreement that EDM is a understandably good form of music. But you have a problem with this particular type of rap.
Yes.
And I'm trying to understand, given those two things, why that is.
Well, there's one difference between the rap of today and all the things that I've mentioned.
Okay.
And it's talent.
Okay.
The people who were involved in everything except for the rap of today had talent.
Right. So here's where I'm
just
gonna...
like
wait. Give me a second.
Hold on.
All right. Go ahead.
Like, if it's a little bit of a half dozen here, and like if I were to make a movie where people are going to be improvising all the time, then and I said I got Seth Rogen, you'd be like, oh, okay, Seth Rogen knows how to improvise. I've seen him in many movies come up with great improvisation, or like Will Ferrell or any comedian that you really like.
Yeah.
Like I could say like it's going to be an improv movie. They're going to improv a lot. And it's just like, well, you got a great cast.
Yeah.
If it was like, everyone's going to stick exactly to the script in this movie that I'm writing, and I'm choosing between Tom Hanks and Will Ferrell.
Okay.
You would probably be like, well,
Tom Hanks is
probably the better choice in that matter.
Yeah.
Than Will Ferrell, but I guess you could go either way. But like just because Will Ferrell is the top of the mountain on one
doesn't mean he's on
and
the
Tom
other.
Hanks is top of the mountain on the other. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that like the two of them intersect as like the most talented.
Right.
On each, there's levels to it. I would still say that Tom Hanks is more talented than Will Ferrell.
Okay.
But it's like, for what he does, he's doing very well.
I think that you've pulled out the exact point that I wanted you to pull out, and that's good. So here's what it really comes down to, folks. It's this. As you heard Corey say, he thinks that Tom Hanks is overall more talented than Will Ferrell, despite the fact that both of them are at the top of their individual games. And that is because he places more talent in the field of being able to reproduce a script exactly as written, and not so much on being able to improvise. The same rule applies when it comes to music. And this is the thing that he refuses to acknowledge, that if he likes something, then that makes it a higher level than if he doesn't like something. And I see you shaking your head, but that's the truth.
It's not.
Because you like jazz, and scat is a part of jazz, so that's okay. And EDM is all right. You wouldn't listen to it as your preference, but it's fine. But you like rap music. You don't like this particular part of rap music, so these must be talentless hacks.
No.
Despite the fact that they are listened to by millions of people who appreciate the music the same way that you appreciate your music. You refuse to see
I'm
that
not-
you are essentially old man Baker who's saying, if it's not the way that I want it,
Absolutely
these guys
not.
have no talent.
Absolutely not. I'm saying they're not talented because they're not talented. People can enjoy them despite not being talented. That's been a consistent throughout music. There's been less talented people and more talented people. Like I remember, when I was a little kid, I came in with my Walkman.
Yeah.
And there was another kid who we were having like this rivalry going.
This is the Green Day.
The Green Day, yeah.
Yes.
And somebody said, Matt, what are you listening to? And he said Ace of Base. And they said, Corey, what are you listening to? And I said Green Day. And all the kids said Ace of Base is the better band. Clearly it's decided. Matt has the better choice. Ace of Base all the way. And I said, no. Green Day is the one that will live forever. Now, I'm not trying to, speak for all of Green Day's sins, I guess. But you can say, if I can talk to a kid today. I can just grab a random 12-year-old. Well, not grab them, but I mean, like, I can just pull aside a random 12-year-old and just be like, hey, have you ever heard of Green Day? And they'd be like, yeah, I know who Green Day is.
Right.
Like, do you know who Ace of Base is? No, I don't know who Ace of Base is. So, I mean, just because people like something doesn't mean that it's better. I think you would find most people would say now, looking on it in the pale light of day, that Green Day is better than Ace of Base.
Okay.
But at that moment, 3 of the 4 people in that group thought that Ace of Base was the better
Again,
band.
the moral of this story is that you have a better compass on what music is good, and therefore we should listen to you. It doesn't take into account anything about the perspective of the other person. And that's what you just can't comprehend, that you're not taking in the perspective of the other person. The other person thinks that is just as valid a type of music as you think any of your singer-songwriters are a valid piece of music.
Let's change up the scope a little bit. Let's say that without steroids, Mark McGwire would have never made it to the major leagues.
Okay.
And obviously with steroids, he was able to break home run records.
Okay.
And it was either take it and be in the majors or not take it and be out.
Okay.
Do you think that we should look at Mark McGwire's athletic baseball statistics the same as we should clean players who've come throughout the course of history, like Hank Aaron?
Yes,
because he had to use supplements to be able to get him to the level where he was.
I am a huge fan of the asterisk. I support the use of the asterisk.
Okay,
because I think that we should treat them differently because they have he's under a different he cheated to get where he is.
Right.
And your argument is that somehow these guys who are popular today have cheated in order to do that.
Yeah, they don't require actual talent. They use auto-tune and they use producers and they use software to keep them on beat.
One of your first points...
If all those 3 things are gone, then I don't think you would be able to have a rapper. Little Uzi Vert would not be allowed to be a rapper today if he didn't have auto-tune, somebody correcting his pitch, somebody who's getting him on beat, somebody who's in charge of making him popular.
Okay.
Because there's a record label at the end of the day who's trying to shove Little Uzi Vert down your throat, because they'd rather spend less money, pick literally anybody out of a crowd, make them a rap star or make them a pop star or do whatever that is. At this point, all you have to do is you have to find the prettiest girl you can.
Right.
Because you can just auto-tune the shit out of her, make her a disposable, sexist, just make her the ire of every kid who wants to masturbate, and then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to go to all these clubs and listen to people who are pouring their heart out over, a $20 that they're going to get for singing this open mic. You can just sign anybody. Just find a hot bitch and just make her the head of your pop star division.
So you wandered there for a minute, but your point is that Little Uzi Vert has no skill.
Right.
All right. We're going to do a little test for those of you at home. And by the way, I can't stress this enough. We need to hear from you. And the best way we can do that is to have you contact us. You can reach The Anthem at
all your social networks. At the Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus. Of course, you can email Corey at otheanthem.com with your comments, or call or leave a call and leave a voicemail, or text the listener line at 443-219-7595. That's 443-219-7595. So getting back to the example, which is the example that I really want to use. I don't know why that happened. I want you to pull up EXO Tour Life by Lil Uzi Vert. And I am going to bring up the fans so that everybody at home can listen along with you. I want you to fast forward to 44 seconds in. Are you right there? Was that where you were? Where were you?
At 1 second.
Oh no. Okay, so go up to 44 seconds. And
it's only 19 seconds long.
Oh, the clip is?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right, yeah, played it 1 second. I sent you the edited one. Hey, look who's prepared.
Okay.
All right, so while you listen to that, everybody at home is going to listen. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and go. Oh, wait. I'm going to let it play out because I actually started it late. Oh, why is that doing that? All right, so we're going to go back. Wait, we're going to go back up here. Yeah, here we are. We're back. All right, so that was EXO Tour Life by Lil Uzi Vert, a little 19-second clip of it. First of all, I think this is a great example of what we would consider mumble rap. In fact, Lil Uzi Vert is one of the examples you continue to throw in my face. Now, EXO Tour Life blew up this year. In fact, it got Lil Uzi Vert from the level of being a SoundCloud rapper all the way up to where he is right now, which is super popular, going on tour all around the world. What do you think about that particular clip from EXO Tour Life?
It's garbage.
Yeah, you're not a fan at all.
No.
And why is that? Can you extrapolate on why you don't like EXO Tour Life?
Well, I didn't like the beat. I didn't like the auto-tune. I didn't like any of what I could understand of the lyrics. I didn't like the fact that it was produced within an inch of its life. I didn't like the fact that it was lacking any kind of human experience. And it all seemed unnecessarily. It seemed like it was created to distract.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, going back to your original point, is Lil Uzi Vert, does he have any talent?
No.
All right. I'd like you to open up the second Lil Uzi Vert clip, which I think is Little Uzi Vert Young, or Young Lil Uzi, or something like that.
Yeah, Little Uzi Young.
Yep. And we're going to play it for everybody. You ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, and play. All right, and we're back on to the live video here.
Yeah.
All right, so thoughts?
Significantly better.
Okay, but your whole point is that these guys don't have talent.
Yeah.
But that's way closer to what you would consider mainstream rap, the kind of rap that you like. Right?
Yes.
It's got a lyrical message. I mean, I woke up and my girl wasn't there. I lifted up the sheets. She was sucking my dick. I don't even smoke weed, but your shit smells like mids. This is really hardcore rap. This is the kind of rap Corey really likes because it's really got a message. It's got that deep lyrical message.
Well, it's not a deep lyrical message, but it's perfectly fine. It's acceptable. Like I said,
right. So I don't. Like, here's the thing I don't understand.
Like
because
you said,
wait, no.
Wait, hold on. Like I brought up with Party Up before. Like, would I say like this has to go in the Smithsonian,
right, for
greatest rap lyrics ever? No. Would I say that it should go in the Smithsonian for one of the, 200 most influential rap songs of all time? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'd probably put it in 100, but
so
without a doubt, it would be in 200 of almost anyone's list.
Here's what I don't understand: you can appreciate, you like the young Lil Uzi Vert song, which sounds a lot more like the DMX song, the Nas, all the rap that you like.
Right.
But you say you want lyrics, but when you find out what the lyrics of EXO Tour Life are, when it's about how depressed that he gets on tour and how he feels like he's all alone and nothing in the world makes sense to him anymore, and all the money and all the girls and all this stuff doesn't even matter, which is what he's saying in that clip that I played you.
Yeah, the first one?
Yeah, you don't care. You just don't like it, therefore it's bad.
No.
How can you possibly say that?
What do you mean?
Because the lyrics are deep. It is the lyrics that you want, but you don't like the way he's presenting it, and therefore it's not good.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that it's shallow and without meaning.
It's not. That's the whole point. It's not shallow. It's deep. He's talking about all the problems of life. He's talking about how bad it is to be who he is and how his life isn't what he thought it was going to be. That's what EXO Tour Life is all about.
All right, hold on a second here. Let me pull this shit up.
All right, now he's going to Genius, which is great, by the way. And here's the problem I have. First of all, interruption. Ashley, thank you for joining us. We were just talking about you earlier. I hope you check out the full episode on Tuesday because we did give you a big thank you earlier, so make sure you check that out. And like Ashley, you can join us in the chat room for every single episode. We are, of course, live on YouTube at youtube.com/OTheAnthem/live. Every single episode, we always send out notifications out all over social media. That's on Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter, and Instagram at The Anthem. Make sure you join us there. But that's where you can find us, and you can join us and be part of the show. So we want you to come out and hear your comments as well. So come out and join us. All right, go ahead, Corey. What was your next point?
Well, hold on. Just going back to the lyrics on this one that you said were really deep.
Yeah.
Are you all right? I'm all right. I'm quite all right. And my money's right. 8? Yeah. Counting them bands. All way to the top till they be falling over. Counting them bands on my way to the top till we fallen over.
No, you've taken a little portion of it. That's not the portion I played for you.
Okay,
what portion?
Find me the portion you played for me, and
Here we go.
I'll find the deep psychological meaning within. It's compelling, Pud.
Oh, hang on, sorry. Hey,
you looking?
Okay, so here we go. So Phantom that's all red, inside all white, like something you ride a sled down. I just want that head. Okay, that's not so deep. My Brittany got mad. I'm barely her man now. Everybody got the same swag now. Watch the way I tear it down. Stacking my bands all the way to the top, all the way till my band's falling down. Every time you leave your spot, your girlfriend call me like, come on over. I like the way she treat me. Gonna leave you, you leave me. I call it that Casanova. Well, I sound really white while I'm reading these lyrics, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me get back so I'm actually on the screen because you guys can't even see me. She say, call it that Casanova. She say, I'm insane. Yeah, I might blow my brain out. Zanny, help the pain. Yeah, please, Zanny, make it go away. Yeah. Like, that's a person who's struggling, who's saying, here's the money. I pile money up and it falls over. They say I want this car, but it's basically the same as the sled that I had when I was a kid. All the women, all this. Like, you have to get into the lyrics, just like you had to get into the lyrics to anything in the 90s that you absolutely live and die by.
I closed my eyes for a little bit while you were reading those lyrics, and I was trying to just think for a second. Was that Little Uzi Vert, or was it Maya Angelou, who was just...
All right, so wait. So Nas is Maya Angelou?
What?
Your favorite rapper, Nas, is Maya Angelou. He's putting out stuff that's Maya Angelou style.
No, but hold on a second here. Let me just put this one out there for you.
Oh, wait, are you cherry picking a Nas song?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm tired of being poor, and even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull the trigger, kill a... He's a hero. Give the crack to the kid. Who the hell cares? One less mouth on the welfare. First ship him dope and let him deal the brothers. Give him guns, step back, watch him kill each other. Like, that's pretty deep, right?
Okay,
can we agree that that's a phenomenally well-written lyric, regardless of what kind of music?
And that came off of Machiavelli, Tupac's album in 1995.
Yeah.
When was that song written? It was written before he made it in 1992. Mm-mm. What kind of songs did he produce after he made it?
Like a lot more gangster thug life.
Oh yeah, it's all about
Yeah.
selling drugs. It's about jewelry.
Yeah.
It's about everything. So,
But Tupac had a very complicated history.
okay, so again, you're making excuses for the people you like, and you can't make the connection.
No,
that
but-
that's exactly what you're doing. It is so frustrating to
saying-
get in this argument for
I'm
you to
saying
say, "Oh well, Tupac's
You're
different because
talking
he's Tupac."
You're talking about how much of a lyrical genius Little Uzi Vert is.
I'm not
And I
saying he's a lyrical genius.
Pulled up. We read the lyrics there, and it wasn't anything that great. It wasn't anything that any one of us couldn't have written. And furthermore, I just pulled up a rap song.
You cherry-picked a Tupac song, possibly the greatest rapper in the history of music.
Yeah.
You picked out one of his songs, cherry-picked it.
Now go ahead, fine. Pick out the best mumblecore rapper lyricist you can find, and just
Mumblecore, it's not mumblecore, it's mumble rap, and it's not even done as a genre. That's like saying in 1991, pick me out the best rapper. We're going to compare it to something else from history. We are a year in. We are 2 years in. In 2016, Wiz Khalifa gave an interview where he supposedly coined the term mumble rap. If anything, that term wasn't even developed until 2015 at the earliest mention of it, and then it was mentioned in a sentence about rappers who mumble, not mumble rap.
Okay.
So we are 2 years in. When did hip hop become a thing? Grandmaster Flash, 1979. I'm sorry you didn't know that right off the top of your head.
I was going to say
When-
Sugar Hill Gang, but
Sugar Hill Gang. Okay, so but it's around the same time,
Yeah.
1979. When did rap become
Early
a
80s,
thing?
yeah.
When did rap become really into its own?
like when did it really hit its stride?
Yes.
in the 90s.
But when did it
East,
really
West.
become its own separate thing?
like as we East West really
No,
kicked
but
up.
that's what you're. This is the thing I hate that you refuse to see is what you're doing
Cancel.
What you're doing is you're saying, okay, it actually rap separated as a type of music in 1987, and you're picking out 7 or 8 years later and saying, well, this is when it's in its prime. Of course, that's when it's in its fucking prime. It aged for 8 years. It figured itself out over 8 years. And you want me to go back over the last year and a half and pick out something that competes with Tupac, a lyrical genius who came in 8 years after the genre matured.
He's number one.
And a guy who became famous and then sang the songs he wrote when he was poor, and when you compare it to the songs he wrote after he made it, there's no comparison.
Okay, number one. It's real cute that you think that comparing somebody after having a certain number of years is the number of years since a creation of something is incredible, because Tupac came out of nowhere. When Tupac dropped on the scene, it was like
There was no rap around at all.
No, there was plenty of rap around,
Yeah.
but people saw him come and go, "Holy shit, this guy!"
Something different.
Yeah, wow,
Something
that's
different.
something.
Absolutely.
You can make the same argument that Little Uzi Vert has had 20 years, because now we're in 2017 instead of 1987, has had 20 years in which to come up with a better song and has not done so.
No, but you're asking him to improve upon something in the same genre rather than change it and modify it. That's what I don't understand. Like, you can't see that this genre as a whole is changing, and when something new comes out, it dies off. How long was scat a popular part of jazz music?
Not very long.
No, right. Because it was a movement that came out, it flourished quickly over the course of 6 or 7 years, and then it died out.
Right.
Why can you not see that mumble rap is going to be something very similar to that? It flourishes quickly, it grows and matures, and then it dies out. And maybe Little Uzi Vert isn't going to be Tupac. We're not going to be talking about him in 20 years. Maybe not. Maybe Little Yachty isn't. Maybe Designer isn't. None of these
Listen,
guys.
when in the 70s, there were people who were saying that disco is terrible and it's the worst. It's the worst thing that ever happened. And that disco music was bad. And guess what? Most of disco music was bad. There was, call it 10 artists maybe who feel like they've transcended somehow.
Yeah.
And are either still popular to a degree today, or at least have a name value today that is really tough for somebody 40 years later to have.
Right.
Like, if I say the Bee Gees, you know who the Bee Gees are.
Sure.
Maybe you don't know all the Bee Gees songs, but if I played you, Saturday Night Fever, you would be like, oh, yeah, I know that song. Like, I'm fine knowing that, 40 years from now, when we look back on the teens of the 20 teens,
Yeah.
we're going to say, all right, so there was only like 2 or 3 rappers who came out who were worth a damn.
Right.
and all the rest of them were hot garbage, and everyone was saying they were hot garbage at the time, and we just had to deal through that terrible period of time in rap music.
But again, you can't see that you're prejudging this.
Just because like I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but let's just for the argument's sake say like Cardi B becomes like the transcendent rap figure from this time.
She's not in that part of she's not in the sub.
No, but I'm saying like let's just say that she becomes one of the all-timers.
Okay.
When it's all said and done. So she's one of 5 who do that from this time period.
Okay.
As opposed to 20 who did it in the 90s. 20 rappers who came up and became the best of all time.
At the pinnacle of the growth of the genre, yes. Before it splintered into subgenres. When there only was one type of rap.
Music grows. That's the thing. If you want to make an argument over what music is better, that's kind of difficult to do because it's you're distinguishing between apples and oranges to a degree, but you can see the linear growth of things. So from jazz and R&B and Motown and sort of like it's sort of like the pop jazz feel that sort of came back a little bit around in the R&B scene, like in the 70s or so, towards rap, towards gangster rap, towards now, you can see the progression of one thing to the other.
Okay.
And I'm saying that the elements that have come in the latest generation of rap have all been to make it so that they can move music as quickly as humanly possible. It's not about getting the most talented artist. It's not about getting somebody who can do it without having a producer put them on beat. It's not about finding somebody who has a voice that lives on without auto-tune. It's about trying to get Lil Yachty into the recording studio as many times as possible while he's still popular and we can make money off of him.
Now,
and the fact that we went from people who, yes, there was plenty of elements of rap music which were not beneficial to the black community, like the element of talking about. Hold on. I'm about to make a real point here. Okay. Like talking about what it's like to be in a gang or selling drugs or stuff like that. You would argue that would be a negative influence on the black community. And you know what? This one's even worse because you're basically just taking puppets that you're creating to amuse the masses. You're getting as much use out of them as humanly possible, giving them as little as you can for the act, and then the white executives are lining their pockets with the money of the young black rappers who are now going to be pushed aside and not have any kind of real long-term ability to manage their life. I mean, like, at what point, a year or two from now, when Lil Yachty is a who, like when you say, "Hey, have you heard the new Lil Yachty?" and they're like, "Who?" We can look at his life and see how horrible it has become and how it is broken apart because nobody cares for him and nobody is looking out for him and nobody is trying to point him in the direction of growth as opposed to get these albums out as quickly as possible because Target needs a new song for their holiday collection with Miley Cyrus. I mean, like, it's just bullshit.
Okay, are you done now?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's continue that huge side that means nothing. So speaking of Lil Yachty, because again, you know nothing about the music business, and that entire point, that entire rant that you went on that I tried to cut off, it proves my point that you don't know anything about the music business. But let's go in. I want you to pull up. This time I want you to pull up Lil Yachty Young, not Broccoli, but the other one, and we're gonna watch along. We're gonna watch along here. I want you to pull up the young one because it's Mason 97. Are you ready?
What is it? Lil Yachty 97?
Yep. Lil Yachty Mason number 97. You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's listen.
Okay.
All right, mics are back. We're back here now. All right, so That's Lil Yachty in 2012 or 2013 when he was putting out a song called Mason 97, which sounded a lot like the music that was coming out in the aughts and something he really wanted to listen to. Now, I'd like you to listen to Broccoli, which is the other Lil Yachty track.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's give it a listen.
Sunshine, nigga, touch my game. We gon' turn this shit to Columbine. Ice on my neck, cost me 10 times 3. $30,000 for a nigga to get free. I just hit Rodeo and I spent like 10 G's. I just did a show and spent the check on my mama.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
All right, so clearly I would say you would prefer the first version of that. Sounds a lot more like the rap that you like.
Yeah, but I mean, I really hate both of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing about Lil Yachty. That second track, Broccoli, by Dram, where he's featured, is a Quality Control track. Do you know who Quality Control is?
No.
No idea who Quality Control is. All right, so Quality Control is a record label out of Atlanta that is owned by two African-American men who go out in the streets and they find young rappers. They support them. They offer them full contracts. They put them in the studio. They support whatever work they want to do, and they basically get them paid. And they owe no huge record label, no white executive, anything.
Okay.
So they are allowing Lil Yachty to go in and make the music that he wants to make, and he profits from it.
Okay.
And everything that he wants to do with the money, he can do it. What are you doing?
I'm finding something myself.
Okay. So this is my point. Is like you're making this point about how they're just puppets. They're making some white man rich. And
Yeah.
it's no, this guy is being lifted up. He got lifted up out of nowhere, and he makes his own money for himself.
Okay.
He gets to make the music he wants to make, which is, by the way, that Broccoli is what he wants to make. And he is making the new scat. He's having a sing-song lyrical style that moves along with the music.
Can't sing our song, but
Is scat singing?
yes.
No, scat is not singing. What?
Yes,
Are you
it
fucking
is.
retarded.
No, it
scat
is.
is not singing.
Sure it is.
How is it singing?
What part of that is not a vocal exercise to do?
What part of that is not a vocal exercise?
I mean, like, you would say that arpeggio is part of singing, correct?
Sure.
So how is scat not part of...
How is that not part of singing?
Because he's not fucking doing it. He's not fucking doing it. He's just... The computer is taking over for him. He can't sing.
This is where
he can't.
This
he
is
can't.
where I can't.
He is
this is where you
incapable.
can't-
That could be a fucking hamster. That could be a fucking hamster.
Because
making
you were
those
in the
noises.
studio with Lil Yachty.
No,
you
but I'm
saw
saying
them
it's so-
adjust because
he's
your
so
ear is
fucking
so
untalented.
fine-tuned that you can pick up auto-tune
Yes.
in amongst all of the distortion
Yes.
that they already put on his
By
voice.
the way, fucking everybody who shares that, hey, listen to how great T-Pain is without autotune. That song has fucking autotune in it. You are just completely blind to the fact that you don't know what the human
Because
voice sounds like anymore.
Corey is smarter than you, and his ear is so fine-tuned that he can pick out auto-tune anywhere.
You realize that for money I listen to things and
I do
I'm
realize
required
that.
to
And I feel like
to
it's
understand differences
It's
between
giving you a false sense of superiority when it comes to picking out auto-tune on a track. The thing is distorted. He one takes everything and just goes in and lays down a sing-songy track where his voice matches the beat. Listen to the beat, listen to the beat, listen to the beat, lay down a track so his voice matches the beat. He puts some lyrics in that he wants. He gets paid. His family gets paid. That's all he wants.
keep going.
What? So what? I mean, so this is where you just can't win the argument with Corey because one, it's about does he like it or not. Nobody has talent who he doesn't like. If he doesn't like it, they're a fraud. And by the way, I'll refer you back to old episodes. Any of the Sam Smith episodes, anything about Robin Thicke, all of these artists who Corey doesn't like, and therefore they have no talent. This is just another entering that same pool of if he doesn't like it, they have no talent.
Real quick,
he has inability to open his mind to new experiences.
The first Little Yachty track, the old one.
Which one?
The one with Mace 97, that sort of thing. If you want to hear somebody who's performing it much like he does, but actually stays on beat, there's this one.
Can somebody
I mean, it's terrible still. It's still bad.
Who is this?
But at least he stays on Danny Brown. At least he stays on beat. That's a refreshing change of pace for rap these days. Somebody who stays on the beat without needing help.
Okay. Again, so
It's
because
wonderful. I mean, like,
you're in the studio, you see them using the
You
auto-tune,
don't.
you're sure
You
that
don't
they
need
do.
to be in the studio to see that shit.
Sure.
Much like
Okay.
you can watch Transformers and be like, "Yo, I bet that Decepticon isn't real." Yeah, of course it's not fucking real.
Okay. All right.
If you
So
think
I'm
it's
gonna-
not real,
listen,
it's not real.
It's time to wrap this up. I'm going to go to my last example because once again, you made the point. We're just going back to the same old thing that these rappers don't have talent.
They don't. This is why this is going to be such an easy argument for me because
Okay.
it's all based off of the fact that they don't have any talent or ability, and you're trying to convince me that there's some sort of much like we talked about the rhythm and poetry.
Yeah.
They don't have rhythm. They don't have poetry. You're trying to convince me that the and is all that, but they don't even have the and. They don't even have the thing that makes them compelling to other people.
And you have an inability to see that someone else might find something more compelling than you. That these lyrics, this poetry, might speak to someone who is not a 33-year-old white man who lives in Los Angeles.
No.
Who has had the experiences of growing up upper middle class, being in private school,
In Baltimore.
going to a private college outside of Baltimore. You can't see that someone else who has different experiences than you might find this poetry speaking to them. And then
I
they
hope
might
it
want
doesn't.
something.
That's the thing. I hope it doesn't. Any kid who is listening to Lil Yachty and saying like, "Oh, this is the lyrical genius of our generation," fucking kill yourself because it is the worst. You are retarding your brain by listening to it. If you want to like get into it and learn how good music is done, there's plenty of examples out there.
Yeah.
You can just go out like get
Listen
like
to
the
anything
Billboard.
in Corey's catalog because
No,
he
just-
is the only one who knows what good music is.
No, I mean, like, you know, if you get like the Billboard top 500 albums of all time or whatever, like
Sure.
one of those coffee table books that goes through it all, you know, of the 500 that are in there, there's probably 50 albums I really don't like. There's probably another 50 that, you know, like I'm sort of here or there on. There's maybe 50 that I really love. But like in everything else, it's just shades in between. But at the end of the day, I can respect the talent and ability of the 50 artists I really don't like. I can respect where people are coming from for the most part on the 50 albums that I just, you know, like I'm like fine, whatever on. But, you know, I it's very tough to find people who are so devoid of talent as the rappers these days. Like literally every single one of those songs did not meet the smell test.
Okay, let's go to Designer Panda, which is going to be the third one.
I think they're all out of order from
Okay, well, Panda by the Designer.
Panda. Okay, yeah.
Are you ready?
Yep.
And go.
Okay.
Okay, and we're back. So that is everything you hate about mumble rap, which is you can't understand any of it.
Well, I
Old
mean,
Man Baker can't understand the lyrics. So
I
it's
would
really bad.
say between Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi Vert, and Designer, at least that one Designer song.
Sure, yeah.
He is the most talented of the three.
Okay. Well, so
But I mean, that's also like, you know, saying that you know, a number 2 on the talent scale is better than being number 1. You know, like having a 1 out of 10 on the
Okay.
talent scale.
So let's go to the Young Designer song. We'll play that for everybody as well. No, you got it? You got the Young Designer song there?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to let it play out because I started a little later than yours. All right, so any thoughts about that?
I mean, it was fine.
Okay. See, because I think that he actually has improved as a rapper. Forget about the lyricist, because I think he's way better as a lyricist now. But he actually has improved.
Was the first one the newer one?
Yes, the first one's a newer one. The second one was when he's a teenager and he was just doing New York rap stuff.
You're crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, this is the frustrating part, and we really need to hear from you guys, because I need you to tell Corey just basically to shut the fuck up, which is what I've been telling him for the past few months. Because, as you can see from our arguments thus far, I am not a diehard fan of mumble rap. I appreciate it for what it's worth. I like the sing-song nature of it. I think that it has its place in music, and as it matures, as it changes, as people come and develop it a little bit, that it will have its place in history, and it will have its stars, it will have its unknowns, and then people who want to survive will move on to something else as the genre changes. When the subgenre disappears, and something else takes its place, some people will move on, some people won't, and that's how we'll know who's there and who's not. But Corey thinks that because he doesn't like it, nobody should like it, and you're a fool if you like it, and it's damaging to a community. The middle class, born upper middle class, born upper class white man who's 33 thinks that he knows what's best for all of you black kids.
No,
out there, so
I'm just saying. I think it's ridiculous that I would just like when I see things where it portrays the Irish as drunken fighting loonies.
Sure.
Like how I don't appreciate the fact that the original thought that somebody would have of my people would be getting drunk and starting fights. Does it happen? Yes. Does it happen more than it would with others? Yes. But I don't appreciate that that's necessarily the first thing that's brought up.
Okay.
If you're ever going to, there have been so many incredible, transcendent voices in rap who've been able to reach audiences the likes of which popular music almost never reached before. And the fact that we're losing our ability to have these transcendent voices and having them being replaced with literal shit, like the worst rap ever, then we're losing as a culture. If we're and listen, I'm not saying that all rap needs to be common or something like that. That it needs to be this high and mighty, like, come from the mountain with the message from the Lord kind of music. Okay. But I'm saying that, like, take Ludacris, for example. Ludacris was not the most talented lyrical rapper of all time, or not necessarily the most talented rapper of all time, but he was able to mix in sort of fun lyrics with a light style, and was able to put on emphasis into his raps in a way that made it feel more encompassing.
Okay.
Made it feel like he was really feeling what he was saying to you. Like it meant something to him. And if you're going to be a little Yachty or a little Uzi Vert or a designer or any of these people, and you're going to walk into the recording studio, you're going to do your version of scat to auto-tune and have somebody fix it later, then you're not a musician.
Okay.
You're not a musician, you're not an artist, you're just a fucking hack.
You use Ludacris as a comparison, which I can't. I mean, listen,
it's so
very
weird.
Little
like,
to say about
if I was to make a list of great rappers of all time, I wouldn't put Ludacris like right up there.
Right.
He would be falling behind a lot of other names. But if you said, what is a better track? Anything that Ludacris has put out, or anything that has come out from Lil Yachty, Designer, or Lil Uzi Vert, then I'm going to tell you it's Ludacris all day, every day.
You can't see that that's just because
even though he's worse than Tupac, he's still better than these guys.
You can't see that that's just because you like Ludacris and you don't like these guys.
No. And you know what? There were rappers throughout history that I liked that other people didn't. And when people would say to me, like, I like Chingy, right? When that was a thing for half a second, I like Chingy.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, yeah, but Chingy's weak. His raps are no good. He's not good. I'm just like, yeah, I admit it. I admit he's not as good as others, but I can still enjoy this. Am I allowed to enjoy it?
Right, but you're saying that people shouldn't enjoy this rap.
When you get too low on the degradation scale, you can't enjoy it. It's not.
But
it's actually hurting you to listen to it.
You refuse to see that this is
And
your
if you
taste.
can't acknowledge that like, you know, nobody was listening to Chingy going like, oh, this is the one. He's the next. He's the second coming.
And
Second coming of Tupac.
I'm
I mean,
not
like
arguing
everyone
that-
knew he was trash. But like, you know, if you were allowed to enjoy a track or two that was on the radio.
You're
it was fine.
saying that that people can't enjoy mumble rap, that they shouldn't enjoy mumble rap.
No.
That's what you've said the entire time.
No.
It's degrading to rap music as a whole. It's degrading to people.
I will lay it as an example like this. Are you allowed to like MMA? Yes.
Okay.
Are you allowed to compete in MMA? Sure. Are you allowed to compete in MMA if you're not understanding of the fact that you could potentially get brain damage and ruin the rest of your life? No, you're not.
Okay.
So, under the same sort of logic, are you allowed to like rap music? Yes, obviously. Do it. It's enjoyable. It's a wonderful experience. Are you allowed to like mumblecore? Sure. Yeah, I guess.
Rap, not mumblecore.
Are you allowed to enjoy mumble rap? Yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, if that's your thing. Are you allowed to enjoy it without understanding that it's bad for you? No, you're not. Unless you have a comprehensive knowledge of the fact that this is not even shades, but fucking complete books away from where we were and how fucking disgusting this fall has been, then you don't have the emotional intelligence to be able to understand what is being done to you as a consumer. Because every single time that you let a little yachty stand, the bar's just going to go lower. It doesn't get better. Rap doesn't get better from here. It just gets worse until it becomes irrelevant. If somebody comes along and changes it and makes it better again and makes people go
No.
oh,
You
wow,
just
the
said it
talent,
can't
the
get
crazy.
better. You just said it can't get better. It just gets worse from here.
If we don't stand up and say no to this, if we don't stand up and say we're tired of having you guys force this shit down our fucking throats.
This is what I don't understand. How is anyone forcing anything? These guys get popular on SoundCloud.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they get popular.
Okay.
Have you ever used SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Do you understand how SoundCloud works?
Yeah.
These guys are getting thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of followers on SoundCloud. That is how they are gaining popularity.
Okay, so real quick, I'm going to have to find the story that I read however long ago it was and send it to you. But it was the exact breakdown from somebody who worked at Sony, I believe it was.
Okay.
Who talked about how they made an underground rapper in 3 months.
Okay.
And how they started a SoundCloud page and how they released tracks that were not selected to be on the album, like the ones that would normally be on the cutting room floor of an album.
Sure.
How they
put 'em on
released
SoundCloud.
tracks on SoundCloud and then paid for like the Chinese people to go in and listen to it and make it popular. And then more people would listen to it. And then they would be able to go like, oh, we signed this hot new rapper just this other day who's racked up 1 million listens on SoundCloud. People are just like, what? 1 million listens on SoundCloud? That guy's amazing. How did he do it? And then the album gets released and it's like, well, 1 million streams on SoundCloud. Obviously he must be good. And then you purchase it and then you feel it's the emperor has no clothes. You are not... Just because you've been scammed doesn't mean that you have to deal with it. You have to take it. You just say, put some fucking pants on, buddy.
So all the people who actually like this music
Are dumb.
They're dumb.
Yeah.
So the millions of people who like this music, they're
They're dumb.
So Corey is smarter than you. He knows music better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't listen to his music, you are dumb.
No.
And you know nothing about music.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm
No,
saying
that's
like,
that is literally what you
no,
just said.
No, but I'm saying if I put on any song that's on my Google Play Music, right?
Okay.
And we're listening to it, and I start talking about the theory of I like how intros like this start with a nice driving drum beat.
Okay.
Because there's something about the driving drum beat that throughout the course of history of music has been used time and time again to prepare yourself for something bigger to come. Like,
Okay.
you know, there's or like, did you know that metal music started as just a Descendant 6 off of classical music? So metal music is a descendant of classical music. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so there we go. There's something new that you just learned. And that some of the best metal music that's ever been created has just been based off of classical songs.
And you're a fan of metal music, right?
I do. I like metal.
Which is why it's good.
No,
And if you didn't like it,
No,
it would be bad.
I can appreciate something that other people can't in it. And if others don't understand what it is about it, then I get it that it's not for everybody.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to say that, you know, Fintroll is the best lyricist of all time. I'm just saying that it's something different. And sometimes you just
Wait a
want
minute,
you just
listen
want
to
the
yourself.
beat to go.
Listen to what you just said.
Yeah.
I can understand if other people don't like it, but that's okay because I do.
Yeah.
Why can you not apply that same perspective on someone who is a fan of Lil Yachty or Designer or Lil Uzi Vert?
Because at the end of the day, if I play it for my dad, who is not going
Who
to
is
like
also an upper class white guy.
Hold on.
How about if you play it for any of your black friends?
Okay, fine.
Oh wait, okay.
No. let me
What
play it for anybody who hadn't listened to it before. If they said to me, "This is garbage. I hate this," then I would say, "All right, I understand that you probably don't like metal music, and this might not be your thing.
Yeah.
But I can explain to them a couple reasons why it's good."
But what you don't understand is if they have the same attitude that you do, all the explaining in the world won't matter because they will say, "I don't like this. It's not good music."
What define specifically where the talent lies in Lil Yachty? What am I missing?
You define talent one way.
Where is the musical theory that is applied to Lil Yachty that I'm missing?
Okay, so what they're going to say is, can any of these metal bands just go in the studio and in one take be able to put out something that fantastic? No, they got to take months and months to practice. They can't put anything together. Forget about a tour. No, these tours, they spread out dates. They do all kinds of stuff. I mean, the fan base alone is tiny. Like, I mean, like there are always arguments back and forth between the different genres. But you fail to see that you are skewed by your own prejudice in this matter. And the same way that somebody who might see a talent and see something good in mumble rap might see and would have the same opinion about metal music that you have about mumble rap, but that is not, it's not legitimate. You don't see that is a legitimate complaint.
No,
because metal is good.
no, but
Metal takes talent.
You just went off on a completely different subject.
Okay, all
I
right,
said,
all right. So
what
where's
are-
the talent lie?
Where's the talent lie in Lil Yachty?
Let me clarify. Where's the talent lie? That there are 6 people on stage. Maybe 3 of them have talent. Maybe 4 of them have talent. Some of them have to play instruments. Some of them play decently on those instruments.
Okay.
One guy stands out front and screams.
Yeah.
Where's the talent in that? You and I can do that.
No.
What, really? We can't just go scream into a mic?
It's not. That is actually incredibly difficult to do.
But we couldn't train ourselves to go do that?
If you had the ability to do it and trained really hard, then yes, you can do it.
Okay, if you had the ability to hear a beat twice and then go in and freestyle a 4-minute long song, it would be easy and you could do it. You could.
He
train
doesn't
yourself
need to do that though. He doesn't even need to listen to the song once. Because whatever he comes up with, they're going to fit to the beat because he can't stay on the beat himself. So at what point are we going to, if you can't stay on beat, if you can't write the music, you can't write insightful lyrics, and you can't sing or stay in tune, at what point are we, it'd be like if I have a baseball player, but he can't hit, he can't field, he can't run, he can't throw. It's like, well, what the fucking purpose is? Does it look good in the uniform? Is that why we have him?
I wish you would at least accept that you are skewed by your own prejudice.
No.
Because you say he can't write any lyrics.
Right.
Because you don't like the lyrics, because those lyrics don't speak
We
to you.
pulled up lyrics, and
Hang
they
on,
were
hang on.
garbage.
Is there any chance that someone out there reads those lyrics and says, hey, that speaks to me, and I really enjoy those?
I'm sure because
But you have an opinion about those people. What's your opinion about the people who like the lyrics?
they should spend the time to learn what real music sounds like.
Okay. And you were in the booth with them, so you're 100% sure that he can't stay on beat, that they're using auto-tune to keep him on beat.
I don't need to.
Right. You don't need to, because you know 100% true that's the case.
Yeah.
All right. So at least 2 of those 4 points that you just made, you are 100% certain, and you can't take the perspective of someone who has the opposite opinion of you. And here's the thing: I'm not a huge fan of mumble rap. I enjoy it. If I want to have a deep moment, on the way home, if I have a really bad day. I don't put on my create music station on Spotify. I put on my 80s and 90s hip hop station, because yes, there were some lyrical geniuses. And by the way, the sieve, the filter that we've had between 2017 and 1995 means that only the best remain. So when I put on my hip hop from the 90s station, it's all Tupac and Biggie and Jay-Z and Nas and only the best of their tracks.
Yeah.
Not the garbage 11 from the 13-song EP,
right?
But the 2
that
were really good.
Yeah.
It filters them out. But sometimes, if I'm not having a bad day, if I just want to fucking enjoy some music, some mumble rap where you just put it on and the lyrics don't really matter. The lyrics are just bringing you along with the music, and it's just taking you. And if they throw something in there, if you look up the lyrics, you're like, oh, hey, that's cool. I got that. But you refuse to appreciate that maybe somebody has that mentality, that they just want to enjoy the music without some depth of lyrics.
It's not music.
And I mean, I don't know. Without you, at least I can say that I have my own prejudices that I bring to this. That when I started at this company, I hated EDM and I hated mumble rap and I was exactly like you before I started working with it every single day.
Right.
And now I can appreciate it for what it is. And you refuse to at least acknowledge that your prejudice exists and that skews the way you see this.
No, but I mean, like, going back to my example of the baseball player who can't hit, can't field, can't run, and can't throw.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
I can find you artists throughout music history who really can't compete in like one of those areas.
Right.
Like Bob Dylan is not a good singer. Right?
No, he's not.
No, he's not a good singer, but he's a great lyricist.
Okay.
He writes great music.
All right.
And
what's the name of Bloody Sock? Bloody Sock from the Red Sox.
Kurt Schilling?
Kurt Schilling. Great pitcher.
Yeah.
Is he?
Sure, yeah.
Really? Because if I put him up next to another Red Sox, Roger Clemens, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to hit better if they have to play a National League team?
Well, probably Schilling, because he was in the National League for so long.
Oh, that's right. That's a bad example. Okay, so let's put him up against Dodger star
Kershaw?
Kershaw.
Yeah.
It's Schilling and Kershaw. Mm-hmm. Who hits better?
Kershaw.
All right. Who runs the bases better?
Kershaw.
Okay. Who pitches faster?
Kershaw.
And who has more pitches?
Kershaw.
So why is Kurt Schilling revered as a major league pitcher?
Because he was very good. He was one of the best pitchers we had during that.
What was his special pitch? What
fastball?
No. What kind of pitcher was he?
It's a fastball slider?
Wasn't he a knuckleball pitcher?
No.
Who
was Wakefield.
Wakefield. Going back. Wakefield versus Kershaw.
Yeah.
Wakefield versus Kershaw.
Right.
Who bats better?
Kershaw.
Who runs the bases better?
Kershaw.
Who pitches better by most metrics?
Kershaw.
But why is Wakefield a major league pitcher?
Because he can do something different that will throw off hitters.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you can use your baseball example, can you see that there might be some benefit in guys who can do something differently than everyone else?
But he can throw.
This comes back to the fact that you think that these guys are talentless hacks.
No, but I'm saying
that's what you're saying. That these guys who we listen to, Little Uzi Vert, Lil Yachty, and Designer are talentless hacks who any computer could put out something just as good as what they can produce.
Well, no, I mean you need a human being at the end of it to allow the computer to do its work.
You are saying that you can go in a studio and produce anything like Little Uzi Vert, like Little Yachty, or Designer.
Oh, could I meet that minimum bar?
Yes.
Yeah.
You could produce something better than any one of those three rappers.
Well, no, I can't produce something better because I wouldn't be able to create the music that would go with it.
What if I got you? What if I got you the track? The beat is done. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is rap over it.
Okay, yeah.
Here's the challenge. The challenge has been laid out because I have access. to thousands upon thousands of beats.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a beat, and I want you to listen to it twice and then go in the studio and lay down a track. By go in the studio, I mean in the bathroom with a mic. And lay down a track.
Yeah.
And I will give you as much time as you want to master that thing with your precise hearing.
Yeah.
And auto-tune the shit out of it.
Okay.
And then we're going to put it up on the website.
Are you also going to produce? Are you also going to give me the studio in which to work on it all that time?
No, wait. Why would I need to do that? You have the ear. That's all that's really necessary. We have access to auto-tune.
No.
Yeah, we do.
No, we don't.
I can get you auto-tune then. Well, so I will put you in a studio where you can work and auto-tune the thing up. I have access to all of that.
If you wanted me to create,
See, here's the thing. This is a Beastmaster challenge because Corey believes that he is in perfect shape to compete in Ultimate Beastmaster.
yeah,
Right? You're ready to go.
yeah. You haven't seen my pecs?
Yeah, you can just compete in Ultimate Beastmaster now. And then I say something like, hey, let's go do a Savage race. And what is your response to that?
I don't feel like it.
Right. Okay. So you have the talent to produce something just like any of these three rappers who we listened to today. Fine.
They don't have the talent to produce something.
All right. Fine. Then you're going to produce something better than them because you have the talent.
If you said to me, go into the studio, lay down a rap, and then we'll have the guy who produced these albums do yours and make it the way that Designer and Little Yachty's and all them's are, then yeah, all I have to do is go in and say whatever the fuck I'm gonna say, and then the guy whose job it is to fix it will do it. I'm not the guy who fixes it.
Okay.
If you ask me to go in and lay down the same amount of track that they lay down in the same way in which they do it, yes, I absolutely could do that.
I'm going to play this for a couple of producers that we work with, and I have a feeling that they are going to be so upset with you. Well, I wouldn't really put you in the studio with them because I'm not sure that you would.
What do you mean? That I said that they were the talented ones who were fixing the awful garbage of others?
No, because you're talking about their friends and saying that they are garbage.
Yeah, they are garbage.
Okay. Yeah, so I wouldn't trust you in the studio with them because I'm not sure you would get out alive. But nonetheless,
but why would you think that the people who are complicit in the garbage getting out there would be excited about hearing me say that something is garbage?
They would, because they believe in what they do, and you are a critical hater from the outside who refuses to see that your perspective is skewed by your own prejudices.
Feel free to come back to the point that I laid out that you've missed the entire time, which is he can't bat, he can't throw, he can't run, he can't hit. And what skill does? Let's just pick one. Which one is your favorite of the three that you played?
See, but
which one of the three is your favorite?
I like them all differently for different reasons. There are three, and that's what you also don't.
Okay,
see,
but let's say Little Yachty. Let's just pick out one.
Okay.
Little Yachty. He can't hit. He can't throw. He can't field, and he can't run. What can he do right?
Okay, but here's your problem.
He can't rap. He can't write. He can't write beats. He can't stay on beat. What does he do right?
You say he can't rap because you don't like how he raps. You say he can't write lyrics because you don't like his lyrics. You say he can't stay on beat because you are 100% certain that they're auto-tuning him onto the beat.
They're not auto-tuning him onto the beat. They're fixing it so that he can stay on the beat. Yeah.
Right. So while I can watch a baseball game and see these metrics of hit, run, catch, pitch, those kind of things, you can't accept that you are skewed in your opinion of this thing that is completely valueless. Like, we can't put a strict value on any of these things. But music historians, I read hundreds of articles about how they are validating mumble rap as part of music history because of the way that it addresses so many things, and the way that it came, the influences that it has from all the way back in jazz that I've been trying to bring up throughout this entire podcast, from jazz all the way through, from rock and roll to jazz and blues, all the way up through modern times, and how it is a legitimate form. It is a legitimate form of music.
We get into the arguments all the time about Wall Street and the influences of these big banks and and the 1% and the richest of the rich and everything like that. Since 1990, have banks and brokers and everybody like that gotten more powerful or less powerful?
More powerful.
More powerful. Have they done anything wrong?
Yes.
Okay. Have they faced punishment for that?
No.
They just sailed right past it, right?
Right.
And they're more powerful now than they ever have before.
Yep.
The same exact thing can be said about major record labels in the same period of time. They've done nothing to inflate the artistry that can be found everywhere if you look for it. If you spend the time trying to find the next great artist.
Listen, there
what
are
they
a
want to
ton
do,
of
what they want to
white
do
people out there
instead.
making music. Why aren't you guys finding the white people making music?
I didn't say that.
Clearly, the singer-songwriter, the white guy with the guitar, the white girl with the guitar is superior. Why aren't you finding them?
What was my ringback tone for fucking ever?
I don't know.
The Man by Aloe Black.
Oh, okay,
It was like
yeah.
one of my favorite songs that came out in like years. It hit me too. Like the second I heard it, I was just like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like, I'm not saying go find white people. I'm saying go find the most talented people. I don't care if they're white. I don't care if they're black. I don't care if they don't got no legs. I don't care if they have a piece of metal sticking out the side of their head.
So long as you're singer-songwriter.
As long as they're talented, as long as they're good, if they're a really great...
I mean, we keep circling this, but the fact of the matter is, if they're good, if they're talented by your definition of talent.
No, if they're good or talented by a reasonable definition of what
So,
good
by
or
the way,
talented is.
No auto-tune on Aloe Black's The Man?
What?
No auto-tune on The Man?
No, there's some autotune on the Man.
Okay. Well, he's a fucking hack then.
No.
Clearly, he's a hack. Because if he
No,
could
because
sing and stay on beat,
we had
then
that,
he
we
wouldn't
had
need
that
auto-tune.
argument before where I've acquiesced that a small amount of autotune is not the worst sin in the history of the world.
Sure.
Because if you send whoever in, just pick any artist, Celine Dion.
Cut
If
to
you
the
send
chase.
if you send
70
Celine
takes,
Dion in,
instead we
it
do
takes her
50
70 takes
Yes,
without
right.
autotune. It takes her 50 with, and it sounds exactly the same as it would have at the end of the 70th take. They just fixed one or two little tiny
Right.
imperfections along the way. It's not that big of a deal. I can understand the rationale for why an artist would want to do less takes, especially if one of the takes that they did could easily be fixed to work.
And so here's the wrap up. Autotune is good so long as you use it the way that Corey wants you to use it. Talent is what Corey says it is. Skill is what Corey says it is. But he is not skewed by his own prejudices.
No,
that's the takeaway from the entire show today. I mean that's what people have to take away from this. That you are right, and if anyone disagrees with you, they are wrong. And
No.
you refuse to see that you're skewed.
No,
You
because
are. Listen, Donald Trump, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast today. I'm glad you could come out and join me for this podcast because I'm starting to understand how Donald Trump's mind works. Every time we have this discussion, I learn more and more what it must be like to be Ivanka and have to deal with somebody who, like, literally just is always right and refuses to see their own prejudices.
I would still like, before we actually go to the outro.
Yeah.
I would just like to try and give you one more crack at this. Little Yachty.
Okay.
He can't hit, can't pitch, can't run, can't throw. What does he do?
Okay, what does a hit look like?
What does a hit look like? Like, how about hitting is the ability to stay on beat
Okay. I listened to the song and he stays on beat.
on his own?
As far as I know, yes. Because
Okay.
I have no evidence otherwise. Because I refuse to put
Do
my
you
own
not have
prejudice
ears?
in. I refuse to put my own prejudice in. And listen, if they're going to fix it, why wouldn't they fix it perfectly? Why would they fix it so that he's slightly off beat on occasion, except for when he does it in his sing-song nature of the song, which is the whole point, what he's trying to do. Okay, so, yeah, hit. What's next? Go ahead.
Lyrics.
Okay. What about lyrics?
The awful general nature of his lyrics and how there's nothing there that is
Listen,
exceptional
your ass
or
is about to be missing. You know who gonna find you? Some old man fishing. Grandma wishing your soul's at rest, but that's hard to digest with the sound of the hole in your chest.
yeah, that is an example of something that I said earlier was
Yeah.
not the deepest lyrical song, yet is still about 1,000 times better than the lyrics that Little Yachty is using.
1,000 times better because you say it's better.
No,
when he
because
says
his lyrics are literal garbage.
because when he says went to the mall 10 times 3. I see. I can't even think of the lyrics, but I mean, I'm so exhausted from this round and round discussion where you refuse to see. So yeah. So yes, DMX has the most meaningful lyrics in the world compared to Little Yachty because you don't
Yeah.
like the lyrics and they don't speak
So-
to you, and you refuse to see that somebody may see something that they like in those lyrics that they may speak to them.
So since the 90s, corporate Wall Street has gone out of control. It's gotten worse.
Yeah.
There's no way to rein it in. At this point, you'd really just have to hope that some sort of like terrorist act happens
Okay.
to sort out the punishment of a lot of these people.
Sure.
Because certainly the courts won't do it.
Right.
And certainly the government won't do it. And at this point, we're in a similar situation with music. Just music in general, but especially rap music. Whereas we have to, if we want to do something about it, if we want to fix this for the future and allow our future generations to have actual music with
Terrorist
actual
event.
artists,
Terrorist event.
we
That's what we
need to say that this is no longer acceptable. That you have to spend the time, if you are going to be a major artist, you have to spend the time to actually cultivate a skill and a talent before we're able to take you seriously.
And make sure that you hire a consultant, Corey Baker, because he's going to tell you what talent is, what skill is.
I'm
what lyrics are.
gonna find somebody who's got absolutely no talent. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of listens to them on SoundCloud. They're gonna become the next big thing because it doesn't
should.
matter. Trump can just lie and people will believe him. I can just say that this guy's the best rapper of all time, and nobody's gonna be able to argue against it because clearly I just said it, and that's all that it takes.
Well, I mean, no one is claiming any of these guys are the greatest of all time. It's too early to say that. What I'm saying
I'm
is
already saying none of them are the greatest of all time.
what I'm saying is that this mumble rap has a place in the grand scheme of things, that it has a message for people, that these are talented guys who are going out and they're producing the music that they want to produce, and that by you minimizing it, you're saying more about yourself and your prejudices than you are about mumble rap as a whole.
I mean, we used to laugh at people who liked shit. What's the name of the woman who was married to John Lennon?
Yoko Ono.
Yoko Ono.
Yep.
We used to listen to Yoko Ono albums and go, that's funny. The fact that she thinks she's doing music.
Sure.
And there was a very small subsect of the population who actually enjoyed Yoko Ono albums. Enough so that she was able to have a middling career as a musician, but more than anything, have a position in the spotlight as former wife of John Lennon.
Sure.
If that was what was happening with Lil Yachty or Lil Uzi Vert or XXX and Tentacion or whatever,
XXX Tentacion.
yeah, then I would be fine knowing that there's this little tiny offshoot of rap that lives in the shadows that some idiots like.
Right.
That would be fine. But the fact that there is corporate interests shoving this down your fucking throat because Lil Yachty does a tremendous job of being able to be popular and be in a Target commercial at the same time, then we can make money off of him, and therefore he's valuable to us.
God
By
forbid anybody make
pushing
any
something
money.
that doesn't deserve to be there out into the mainstream, you are degrading the art of others for the corporate interests for which are ruining everything good and pure about art in the first place.
Keep in mind, art as defined by Corey, because otherwise it's garbage. It's hot garbage if he doesn't like it, but it's art if he
Well,
does.
we've certainly been going on for it long enough, so I think we should give people
I've been
a break.
trying to wrap it up
Yeah.
for the last 40 minutes because there's no point. And listen, I've been saying, what's the fucking point? This is another example
Yeah,
of that.
exactly.
Because I can't
Rap-
even get you
music
to,
is terrible. What's the fucking point anymore? Why should we
can't
even
even
try?
get you to
Why should we
accept-
even try and make new music?
I can't even get you to accept that you have your own prejudices. Like I can't even get you to acknowledge that you have prejudices.
You can't even acknowledge that they don't have talent.
I don't even know how to respond.
I
to
mean,
that.
this is essentially
like the music.
This is essentially what the argument has come down to, is that I think that talent is more important than one's ability to get spins on Spotify.
Okay.
And you think that just because somebody is popular, that they clearly have something going for them.
Right? No. What you're saying is that me liking it.
I'm
isn't
saying
important.
if a year from now I found an article, like a deep dive article, talking about how I won't use the example of Lil Yachty because you made that black-owned studio example,
Right.
but
All those guys, by the way, are working with Black Owned Studios. I just used that one because it was after the argument. But go
right.
ahead, go
But
ahead.
I'm saying, like, let's say that a year from now we find the deep dive about how Lil Yachty was created and how it was shoved out there into the mainstream
Okay.
and how it made countless millions for the corporate overlords,
Sure.
then at what point do you look at it then and go like, oh my God, I was hoodwinked the whole time?
No, I look at it and say I enjoyed the music. I got out of it exactly what I wanted. I enjoyed it. I think that he puts out good music, and it doesn't matter.
That's like saying that the Walmart commercial is better than the movie we watched.
Did you buy Dr. Dre's 2001 album?
Yes.
Do you know who profited from that?
The label, yes.
Right. So what you're saying is that it's a problem now. It wasn't a problem when it's music that you like, but it's a problem now, and that's why I'm done.
But there was also an album.
There's so much hypocrisy in your argument.
No, but when you bought an album before, it meant something. It wasn't big money. It wasn't like it was enough to justify the amount of work that Dr. Dre did, as opposed to the label who got 90% of the money.
I'm sorry. What?
What?
The artists today get a bigger cut than Dr. Dre got.
Yeah, I know.
2001. And by the way, the album today costs $10, and I paid $24.99 for 2001.
Yeah.
On CD.
Well, I paid $15. That's usually what the album costs, but
no, 2001 was a double-sided, was a 2-disc set or a double-sided disc.
Oh, okay.
So it was $24.99 at Sam Goody. I remember because I remember paying it. I remember the day I paid for it. But that's the thing. It's cheaper now.
Yeah.
There's more of it now, which means you can have even more subgenres. But yes, the label's making money. In the extent of Lil Yachty, it's a black-owned label who are now bringing up more artists using that instead of making rich white people rich, and apparently that's a problem too. Like,
no, I didn't say that was a problem.
Again, you refuse to see that when it's something you like, it's okay. When it's something you don't like, it's the end of the world. I don't know where else to go from there. That's what your argument is.
All right. Well,
you like it, so it's good. If you don't like it, it's bad.
Now it's time for you guys. Were there comments, by the way?
No, there was a couple of people, but it was just late night YouTube people. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that the only way that we're going to settle this is through our kind listeners.
I don't think so, because I don't think whatever they say, you're just going to tell them they're stupid idiots who listen to that.
Well, I don't imagine that they actually like this garbage. If you want more, you can go to otheanthem.com, Corey to otheanthem.com, otheanthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. And also, you can find all my stuff at legendcb5 or CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com. Shirt.
I was going to say, do you want to mention that at all?
Yeah, some people have said that they like the shirt. So if you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, CBFM, CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com, home of underground indies, then you can go pick one up yourself.
We're going to get that.
At the Oh The Anthem store.
There you go. All right, so make sure you check out otheanthem.com if you're looking for Corey's merch. That's where it is. And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to my political blog, foundingthefuture.us, the news website, deaddrop.com, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rob's books.
And as you're listening to this, the newest book, The Calls, is out. Make sure you take those Amazon gift cards that you got for Christmas. Head on over to Amazon.com. Head on over to
otheanthem.com.
otheanthem.com. Click on the Amazon banner and go through the banner there. That'll click straight through to The Calls.
Or just click on The Calls, because by that time we will have a graphic that'll give you a direct link to The Calls.
Maybe. Still.
Yeah, I need to sit down and talk with you about that. So let's go outside and do that.
Sure. Anyway, so make sure you check that out on Amazon.
Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something, but I know it's not good. But as always, you're listening to the Oh The Anthem podcast. Part of the Oh The Anthem digital network. For some guy, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Can we still be friends?
I thought you were going to reach into my screen. There you go. Hey. Get that out.